We thanks for all those sponsors, and we're going to be getting ready to move on into game number 1 of WeWannaWin Clan versus Crossfire Gaming. My brain wants to spit out something else, but I'm training it. It's a long process. My brain is very slow. But Crossfire Gaming versus WeWannaWin Clan. The first people playing are going to be Warren, and in game it is going to read Hope, but his name is actually Petros. And Petros, aka Hope, his full name is Peter Vitek. I don't normally give full names, but it's in his bio, so I assume it's okay to give out. He is 23 years old. He is from the Czech Republic, it looks like. He plays Zerg. Joined WeWannaWin Clan the 1st of May 2013. Yet another very accurate with their dates clan.
Yes.
He's a college student and among the top 20 players in the Czech Republic since the release of SC2. He used to play Brood War for a long time and among the top Czech players. His biggest achievement is second place at the Asus Arena 2013, which was held in the Czech Republic with a few foreign players. So that is our WeWannaWin Clan participant named Petros. He'll be going by Hope in-game as a separate NA account is my assumption. And for Crossfire Gaming, the contender on their side is going to be going by the name of Warren. He first started playing StarCraft 2 in Brood War after watching his babysitters play. Might want to check the references on those babysitters, but nonetheless, hey, if it introduced you to StarCraft 2, more power to you. Bought SC2 on his 15th birthday, which was July 9th of 2010, duly noted.
He couldn't be gifted it. He had to buy it himself. Happy birthday.
Yeah. He started in Bronze and worked his way to High Masters. He played at the Lake Charles Scion Thanksgiving Open, but was eliminated in the first round by Root Sage. No fun going up against someone like that in the first round of a tournament, but it's got to happen at some point. So those are our players, and we do appreciate both teams sending us bios for our sort of last-minute requests. As we do every week, we request these bios and information from the teams to try and introduce them to you, the community, as this is the StarCraft 2 Community Team League. We want to get these players and teams out there so people become more familiar with them, because as we saw last season, there are a lot of up-and-coming players that participate in SC2CTL that soon end up on the big stages.
Absolutely.
So, you saw it here first, folks. But with that, we are ready to jump on into game number 1 on the map Waystation. And in the upper right-hand corner, representing Crossfire Gaming, wearing the red carapace and representing the Zerg race as well, it is Warren.
And in the bottom left-hand corner, in the green carapace during this ZVC, WeWannaWin's Hope, also known as Petros.
I would really love to see their team chant, given their team name.
Right? We wanna win. We wanna win.
Yes. So we should be fairly expert level this evening going into this game, Gallegation, as this is a ZVZ right off the bat. And after last week on Thursday, all of the ZVZs, we pretty much are pretty familiar with everything that we could see here. But last week we did see some pretty unique things with a Gastric going down there from Hope. Want to get that 11th drone out right away as the Overlord comes out. We saw some pretty unique builds in Zerg. Talk about what you liked last week that we saw.
Well, one of the things that we saw last week that was very impressive was just the amount of roach play. There were some really heavy roaches kind of in the mid-game, even leaning into the late game, just pressing of advantages there, and I really liked some of the burrow play that we got to see as well.
Yes.
So if we could see some of that repeated, that would be neat. Otherwise, normal ZVZ is always a fun time for me. I love watching those little micro battles, watching the Banelings try and get those best.
That's actually, we didn't really see that many Banelings last week. That was the big shocker, is a lot more Roach Hydra play than the little sort of Ling Baneling trades back and forth.
Even Roach Ling we saw a decent amount of, but there were a few Banelings here and there were some decent hits. So
spawning pools going down at identical timings for both players. Looks like the expansion hatch is coming out of Warren right away.
And Petros as well.
Yes, indeed. So fairly identical builds from both players so far. This is something we've seen more and more recently. It seemed like for a while we saw a lot of fairly divergent play, but maybe I have no explanation for it. Maybe they see what's working and go with it. But just Queens coming out as soon as those pools finish, still at the same exact time. An Extractor coming out for Hope.
And it looks like Warren is opting for a few more drones now, putting down that extractor as well. This is going to be about half his lagging behind, 15 seconds roughly. So
This is a cool map. I mean, the distance by ground is actually fairly short, especially once you get that creep going. You know, we haven't seen as much Infestor play as one would maybe think, given the popularity of them. And maybe that's a good thing, as we haven't had any terribly long, crazy games lately. But it's always a possibility. And personally, I like doing the the proxy Infestor thing myself. It's fun to get under the skin of all the people and then hear the Infestor rage that you do seem to see regularly these days. But as these Lings are going to be moving across the map from Hope, coming on into the base of Warren to see what he sees, he's going to see an expansion completed at the natural, and he's going to start poking away at it.
And there is a queen there at the base of the ramp now coming in to try and deal with these Lings. Also, the Lings are trying to... It looks like they were going after those cocoons, which isn't probably the best use of their time, but we're expecting those Zerglings to come out any minute. One Zergling does fall a second now, and looks like Petros still has 2 Lings there. One falls. He's trying to get it out of range from that queen.
Yeah, that Ling battle wasn't exactly fair, as it was 4-on-1. These odds are stacked against him to begin with, but he's going to end up fending that off. But the big thing is the Lings don't end up getting in the main base to see what exactly is going to be coming out. Looks like Creep Queen's coming down here as well, going to start meandering its way out to shove those Overlords out of the way just a little bit here.
Yep. We see a Baneling nest coming down now for Petros. He is also putting down a Spine Crawler at the front of his natural to try and weed out any Zerglings that might be coming. Banelings, I guess, eventually, as there is a Baneling nest now for his opponent Warren as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a little bit behind, and if he can hit that timing and get those Banelings out and in the base of Warren as soon as he gets them, he doesn't really have any Lings close by, but if he can hit that timing before Hope actually gets his Banelings out, that could be pretty nasty, as there's not a whole lot here to defend so far. But it doesn't look like that's going to be the case, as it looks like defensive Banelings is going to be the choice to to morph back at his natural expansion.
Yeah, he doesn't really have the Ling count to really put on any aggression here, so just defending, chasing away some Overlords. But it looks like now Warren deciding he wants to put some aggression on, as he does have 10 Speedlings speeding their way across the map. They will be able to catch that queen, but a Baneling is moving up as well, and are they going to be able to get a connection there? Oh, not quite, as those Speedlings are quite fast. It does pop about 3, it looked like there.
Yeah, 3 Zerglings going down there, and that queen's soaking up a little bit of it too. And this Overlord is actually going to die, so that's going to be...
He pulled back.
Oh my gosh. Only one more
hit. That queen was getting quite out of position.
Yes. Indeed. Now, Hope going to be putting in a little bit of pressure himself, morphing in some Banelings at his opponent's natural, but the Zerglings are going to come out and see them. Do not want to press their luck, as he does not know exactly when those Banelings are going to be popping out. Alas, he did have a little bit of time, but he's going to be able to take out a couple of these Creep Tumors as they were coming out, but Banelings coming in for Warren as well. Now comes the big engagement.
Huge number there, and they're just streaming immediately on, going straight for the drones. Unfortunately, they did not connect, instead connecting with a queen. Not the best trade that you want to see, but 4 more. 2 go off, and a lot of Zerglings die there. 2 more remain, trying to find any drones they can find to take out 2 gas workers.
And that one queen did soak up quite a few Baneling hits, but another round of Zerglings is now going to come in, finish off that queen, surround the one on the ramp, take that down. 4 Zerglings whacking away at that evolution chamber. Not the best use of their time probably, but now they are going to find out the drones at the natural expansion, with Lings of Warren coming in to reinforce, but more Banelings behind this for Hope, so he is going to scare those Zerglings running.
Warren has Banelings of his own, but they're not quite ready, and those Hope Banelings continue to move towards the mineral line. Drones are forced to run away, and big connection there.
Oh, the drones were all stacking up, going through the tiny passageways between the minerals, and more Zerglings coming in from Hope and Banelings. Looks like Hope is getting the upper hand in this battle here, but nice Banelings on the ramp for Warren, taking out some of those Zerglings, and one does pop on the morphing Banelings, which does not end up taking it out.
There's just not much left here for Warren, though. He does not have the units to be able to fend this off. He's got 11 Zerglings there as well, but there are 6 Banelings on their way in, and this is just the end of days here. There's not really a whole lot of production left, and Hope just continues to be banking minerals.
And now just a continuous stream of Zerglings from Hope, 20 more in production as well as 6 more Banelings. Warren with almost no mining as the drones are running scared currently. And he can't really move out either because these banelings out here are going to be popping eventually. Oh, huge connection there, taking out some lings from both players. But now more lings heading up the ramp. There are a larger number of lings here for Warren, but the baneling is going to be coming shortly behind, forcing them back. One pop there would kill all the Zerglings, but he's going after the juicy drones back at the main.
That's what he wants. Does get one kill and heavily wounds the rest. Warren is just hanging on by the threads of his fingernails here. And more lings streaming in, trying to take out those drones. Warren really just trying to hold on, but Hope just continuing to hammer away with banelings and Zerglings.
Hope definitely knows he has this in the bag here, as he's just going ahead and producing more and more lings, more and more banelings. He's not focused on moving to any kind of new tech. One hit there does take all the drones down to critical health, and the Zerglings can come in and finish them off. Queen tries his darndest to kill off some of those lings, but the last 6 remaining Zerglings of Warren are in the main base, not really able to do a whole bunch against the very large army of Hope, waiting for those lings to come on the ramp. More banelings are in production at the natural, and he's just producing banelings in a nice little string across here. There are a few left, the Zerglings taking them out as they're morphing, but if they do come out and pop, it will be taking them out. Banelings popping on the Zergling cocoons themselves and not doing a whole lot of damage, but now comes in 6 or 8, taking out all the rest of the drones and Zerglings, and that is GG. So, the allegation right off the bat, a very quick, very aggressive ZVZ.
Absolutely. You know, it seemed as though Hope, also Petros, same person there, was able to kind of get an early advantage with his aggression. He found a hole, was able to kind of push in and forced a lot of drones pulling, and saw a window of opportunity, continued to push, had a huge bank of gas, so he was able to make a lot more banelings than you would normally see around that time, but just forcing a lot of banelings out by his opponent, forcing his opponent to pull drones quite frequently, frankly, and just got the upper hand in terms of economy and aggression, so pulled that out fairly decisively there.
Yeah, I mean, the builds were very identical up until the baneling nest, to be quite honest. The baneling nest of Hope slash Petros was about 15 to 20 seconds later than that of his opponent Warren. But he didn't really push the advantage. He kind of morphed in some defensive banelings. How do you personally think that, I mean, that was really the only difference there early. Did that make a huge difference, or was it just positioning, in your opinion?
Well, I think that he was trying to defend himself till he got the numbers that he wanted to make that push out. He didn't want to get taken by a huge swell of early lings, and sure enough, those defensive banelings did come in handy when he was trying to protect his queen while chasing off one of those overlords. So not a waste of money by any means, just trying to position himself to get to the right timing, the right amount of resources so that he could go across the map and make all those banelings, as he did.
Absolutely, and a very quick game there, but nevertheless, ZVZs are one of the most exciting to see, as the aggression never stops in games like that.
That's right. So WeWannaWin goes up 1-0 against Crossfire Gaming. Now playing